Welcome back to Sunday Sessions, 1,000 Words. I am your Thady, Roni Nicole, and I will be guiding you through the next few weeks of Sunday Sessions, where we will be discussing what is meaningful to four amazing Black professional wrestlers. 1,000 Words dives into what you think, a photo. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. For the next few weeks, we will be having conversations with professional wrestlers surrounding a photo of an item that is significant to them and their career. We're having these conversations not only to give you insight into the incredible professional wrestlers that you know and love, but also to give you insight into the artistry and the life behind the artist. As I mentioned, I'm Roni Nicole, and I will be your hostess with the mostest. And I'm so excited to be joined by the one and only Liberty the Villainess. Welcome, Lib. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Long time no see, for real.
Yes. Very long time no
Yes.
see. It's so good to actually be in space with you again. Looking forward to sharing the ring with you again sometime soon.
Of course.
But for those who don't know you, please give them your name, your pronouns, and a brief rundown of your wrestling history.
Hey guys, it's Liberty L, the Villainess. My pronouns are she and her. I started wrestling in 2018 and I used to go by the Berserker, Scarlet the Berserker, but now it's been a couple years later. I've evolved, I've changed, I've grown. So now it's a new me. It's the Villainess. It's all about being grimy. It's about being straight to the point. And yeah, it's the Villainess all day now.
We love that. Will you give us your socials so that people know where to find you and how to keep up with all of your wrestling and artistic endeavors?
It's a little bit different across all socials, but I'll try to give you the rundown. Okay. I believe it's Liberty L the Villainess on Facebook. It's officially the Villainess on TikTok. It's the Villainess on Instagram, and I believe that's all the socials I got. I don't have X right now.
We know there's like 13,000,
yes,
but those are the main ones. So
yes.
Make sure that you tap in with Lib and find wherever she is going to be performing. I've been noticing your matches at 880 and all over the place in PA. I'm so glad that you're back in the ring, and it's been such a pleasure to see you enjoying wrestling again. I'm really grateful that that spark has been ignited in you, and that has ignited the spark in me. So I want to say thank you for that. But we're here on 1,000 Words because you have brought something very special. Sorg, if you will put up the photo of what Lib has brought. And so this is actually a painting of you from your Scarlet days, right?
Yes. And
it's amazing. Okay. So give us a little setup for this and tell us why this is so significant.
Yeah. So it was actually given to me at the end of my first run as Scarlet, of course. It was given to me by George Ross. He had went out. It was a show that was an all-woman show. I can't remember what show it was, but it was out in Michigan, I believe. George was out there at the time, and he saw it, and he picked it up for me. He brought it to me, but the reason it's so significant is because I keep that up in my living room, of course, because it's always a reminder of what I came from, because it was never easy, that character for me, or just being Scarlet was never easy, because people had a big expectation of that, and I just wanted to be me. But it just reminded me that I had to keep grinding. I had to get back to the ring. I had to get back to being me and being what I wanted to be in the ring, evolving, basically. So yeah, pretty much.
So when you mentioned that it was hard to be Scarlet,
yes,
are you comfortable with sharing a bit more about how that's different now?
Yes. What I would say as Scarlet, people had a big, like I said, expectation. I was meant to be this larger than life, almost otherworldly type being, right? I'm like, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just live from, Pittsburgh, PA. I'm a goofy, but very much I get my point across, type
Yeah.
gal. But, it just after a while, it just wasn't me. But and I could feel that in my performances and how I was coming across to people, it just was not authentic, I felt. So it took me about a year and a half to really peel back Scarlet, peel back what
Mm-hmm.
what I was doing in the ring, what the character meant to me, what it meant to other people, and feel and realize what purpose I had in the ring, really, at that time. Because I was in
Yeah.
a dark place. I didn't know what my purpose in life was. And I'm not even going to say
Mm-hmm.
I really do right now, I'm still very young and I still got a lot of time to figure out what I want to do with life. But right now, I know my place is being in the middle of the ring, dominating as I always do. And yeah, putting one foot after the next. Yeah.
So would you say that you use your photo as kind of looking back to keep going forward?
Yes. Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. That's why I keep it.
And I
It's
think it's
always in front of me.
important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's really important, especially as Black wrestlers,
Mm-hmm.
to have something that anchors us to the past,
Mm-hmm.
but also gives us that opportunity and gives us that spaciousness
Mm-hmm.
to invent, to reinvent, to create, and to move forward. I think we all look at our first gimmick and our first iteration of self in the ring with a little bit of a smile and a, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
of
That's
course.
very much what it is. Yes. I love Scarlet, but I'm like, keep her over there. Keep her over there. You know, she's for
It
them,
was,
not for me at this
you
point.
know, yeah, it's a time and a place for
Yes.
that particular gimmick, right? I
Yes.
remember popping out with She-Hulk of the South and She-Hulkamania, and
Mm-hmm.
the way that that evolved rather quickly,
Mm-hmm.
based on Hulk's, the way he showed up in the world and how that evolved for me personally, but
I
also
feel.
how I kind of, as you mentioned, grew out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of moved away from that expectation under She-Hulkamania to something different. And sometimes you got to kind of pull your audience with you, and sometimes they really are like, yes, I receive you, and I'm open to this change at all facets of where you are.
Yep.
Have you found with your audience and those who've supported you throughout your wrestling career that making that switch, have they come along with you and really embraced you as the villainess?
Oh yes. I feel like it's happened quicker than I thought, honestly. Because I thought it was gonna be a long change, a long process of people getting to remember who I was in the first place. But luckily I had 880 Wrestling who let me come right back in with open arms and, do what I do in the ring. And I got to showcase the new side of me. It was nothing like Scarlet. I feel like I'm trying to turn the page. Turn the page. Let's turn it.
Yeah, that's real.
Mhm.
And I love that you are taking autonomy over your evolution. A lot of times in wrestling, because your first gimmick often is handed to you by your trainers or developed in that first place you are. A lot of people hold on to that for a long time,
Yes.
right? And I love that you're embracing the fact that, hey, this doesn't feel
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
This isn't fitting me anymore. And so I'm ready to evolve and to keep going into what actually fits,
Mhm.
and embracing that with such power and such ferocity. And it's beautiful to see in the ring. And you're right, it is different from Scarlet. It's a
Yes.
different energy. It's more confident. It's powerful, but it's not power for the sake of power. It's power with intention. It's
Yes.
power that has learned where to place and where to hold, right?
Oh,
And I
thank
think
you.
that's really beautiful. Yeah. Look, I'm seeing them.
Yeah.
I gotta know. I gotta keep up, okay?
Yes.
Because we got to get back in the ring. So I got to
Yes.
keep up with what you're doing, so I
Yeah.
can match energy, right?
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Welcome to Sunday Sessions Black Wrestling History Moment. Today we are talking about another unsung Black professional wrestler, T.T. Paris. When people talk about professional wrestling history, women are usually treated as an extra, a special attraction, a novelty, a sideshow, an afterthought. But women have always been here. And some women didn't just wrestle, they fought the law, fought promoters, fought cultural shame, and fought censorship to carve out space for the women who came after them. One of those clearest examples is T.T. Paris. Her story belongs not only to wrestling history, but to the wider history of women's rights, gender discrimination in sport, and the radicalized politics of who gets to be visible, powerful, and paid. T.T. Paris was born Fatia Ajib on January 27, 1939, in Algeria. She later became known by several ring names, most notably T.T. Paris and Princess Chi-Chi, and performed under dramatic titles including Chi-Chi, Empress of the Black Dagger. The many names weren't just branding, they were survival. Women wrestlers of the mid-20th century were regularly costumed into roles by promoters and audiences who wanted their athleticism wrapped in myth, glamour, danger, exoticism, and spectacle. For a North African woman moving through Europe and America, this was intensified. The performance world wanted her foreignness amplified, controlled, and therefore tried to turn her into a subject. Yet behind the theatrics was something undeniable. T.T. was a real athlete. T.T. did not come up through stable athletic organizations. She came up through the older world where pro wrestling lived, through fairgrounds, circus tents, touring athletic exhibitions, working class wrestling venues such as bars or barns, and variety circuits. She reportedly began wrestling around the age of 17 years old, performing in Algeria, France, and across Europe. Part of the tradition where wrestlers were both competitors and entertainers, expected to command the crowd and demonstrate strength in ways that could stop an audience cold. Accounts describe her as physically formidable, trained in combat disciplines, including boxing and karate, and capable of astonishing feats like lifting heavy weights in public performance spaces. She didn't simply appear, she dominated attention. She was also described as humorous and bold, willing to argue with referees, escalate drama when needed, and keep spectators locked in. In other words, TT understood wrestling's truth early. Wrestling is not just what happens between two bodies. It's what happens between performers and the public. One of the clearest early documentation points of her European career comes from England in the 1960s. A syndicated story from 1964 discusses her as a major attraction, someone who could defeat opponents and even issue challenges to men. At the same time, her visibility sparked moral panic. Women wrestling to many institutions was treated as too much, too physical, too public, too bold, too unfeminine, too uncontrollable. In Britain, there was even an attempt to ban women's wrestling, yet it was debated and rejected. The Home Secretary reportedly declared there was nothing obscene about it. This matters because it shows something crucial. Women's wrestling was never naturally unpopular, it was politically suppressed. If TT's European story shows the culture's discomfort with women wrestlers, her American story shows the system's willingness to make that discomfort law. When TT came to the United States, she ran into a brutal fact. In New York State, women's professional wrestling was literally banned. Not discouraged, not frowned upon, literally illegal. This ban wasn't just about wrestling, it was about controlling women's bodies, autonomy, and labor. It wasn't protection, it was economic exclusion. And so TT responded with something revolutionary. She changed it, not in a vague, I'm upset way. She challenged it through formal correspondence and legal argument, writing to officials and political leaders, including the New York State Athletic Commission, local legislators of the time, and the government offices connected to and controlling professional wrestling at that time. She framed the ban as discrimination and invoked Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, treating women wrestlers as workers whose right to practice their profession was being denied by gender bias. That's the key point. TT wasn't only fighting to wrestle, she was fighting to make people see women wrestlers as professionals with labor rights. One of the most historically powerful moments in TT's professional wrestling record is on March 8th in 1978 when she wrestled Cora Combs in New York City in what is described as the first women's wrestling match in New York City in decades. It was covered by major media outlets and it happened before the ban was formally lifted. That's courage. That is strategy. That is direct action. TT was forcing visibility, forcing a public conversation that the law tried to silence. Soon after, in June of 1972, New York State amended its rules and the ban was lifted. And so we need to tell this portion clearly. Women's wrestling was not allowed back because people suddenly got progressive. Women like TT made it impossible to justify the ban anymore. So if you know wrestling history, you already know how the story usually gets told, that the fabulous Moolah changed everything. But TT's record complicates that very deeply. In letters and public challenges, TT pushed back against media, crediting Moolah with the turning point in New York, and pointed out that she herself had wrestled and fought for legalization earlier. TT also alleged that after legalization, promoter networks connected to Moolah still controlled access to bookings, meaning that even after the law changed, women like TT were still shut out. This is a classic pattern in liberation struggles. Marginalized people fight for rights, institutions concede publicly, gatekeepers maintain control privately, and history credits the powerful and forgets the fighters, like TT. TT's legacy isn't only that she wrestled, it's that she proved three very important things. One, that women's wrestling has always had an audience and it was suppressed, not unwanted. Two, women wrestlers are workers, not just performers, and deserve rights. And three, legal battles matter in wrestling history, not just the championships. Later in life, she was honored, including recognition by the Cauliflower Alley Club, and she appeared in cultural works reflecting women's wrestling history, including the film Below the Belt. She died on February 6, 2022, in Washington State. But the true legacy is bigger than one person, because now we know her name. And telling her story does what history tried not to do. It centers a North African woman as a pioneer, not a footnote. It names her struggle as political, not personal. And it restores her to the lineage. And that is exactly how you change history. Thank you for watching and listening to Sunday Sessions, 1,000 Words. All of the sources are found on Roni Nicole's page.
We all come from somewhere. I myself consider to be a little bit of Houston, a little bit of Carolina, because I grew up in both places. But now we're diving into our Named By segment. This segment gives you a peek behind the curtain for the professional wrestlers that you know and love, but it gives you a chance to get to know them a bit deeper. Named By examines their name, the street, and their heritage so that you can understand how all of those things fold into their professional wrestling artistry. So, Liv, give us your name, your street, and your heritage, or a combination of one or two, whatever you're most comfortable with.
Okay. Well, my name is Liberty Lynn, or you could go by Liberty L. But I am from 163 Auburn Street. in Pittsburgh, PA. That place does not exist anymore. So if you go looking for it, you ain't gonna find it. But
Oh.
that's where I grew up, on that street. And you know, growing up, like I said, I tell everybody it wasn't easy, of course. I grew up on the east side of Pittsburgh in what people would say the hood. It is the hood. But it was just trying to get by, helping my family. It was never anything, nothing was ever handed to us, I would say. My dad worked every day, so I barely saw my dad. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And she was trying to raise 3 kids, trying to make sure we grew up and had the same life as any other kid. But it
Mm-hmm.
was just that sometimes, there is, life just happens. Things happen that you don't expect, and it
Mm-hmm.
tries to separate you. And I have a I don't have a bad relationship with my family, but I do have a tough one. Like I said, we're all tough love.
Yeah.
I say we're a family of what, alphas or alpha pack, really? Like, we all butt heads all the time. So, it just,
Yeah.
I take it with a pinch of salt at this point.
Would you say that get it out the mud,
Hmm.
essentially upbringing, has
Out of the
factored
trenches.
into the way you approach wrestling? Yeah,
Yes.
like
Yes.
how has that given you a different perspective versus some of your peers who may have had parents pay for their training and support them financially through the process and buy all their gear and support, them traveling out of state? In comparison to peers or people who have had that experience, what has it been like for you to really carve that out for yourself?
When you say that, because you described a lot of people I know, actually, but um it's nothing wrong with that. At this point,
Right.
like I
Yeah.
said, when I got into the business, that probably would have made me mad, would have made me
Hmm.
angry, back then, because I had to do all this myself. I had to figure out who I was driving with. I had to figure out where I was staying. I had to figure, like, everything by myself. My parents weren't that instilled in wrestling because they weren't that big of fans of wrestling. And I didn't expect them to
Mm,
be.
okay.
This was my
Yeah.
journey. My journey. But compared to
Yeah.
other people, I would just say, you got it a little easier. It ain't, everything evolves. Even before, like, your generation, you're before me, honestly. But like, I know it
Yeah.
was tougher then. Like, we see the videos of Stone Cold talking about he eating the potatoes going down the highway at night. Like, I understand. Everything evolves. Everything evolves.
Yeah.
And if you have that support from your family, kudos to you, because I will love it. Honestly. Really? Yeah.
Yeah. I think everyone's story, like you're saying, has their own level of challenge.
Mhm.
Because you're right, in the I guess the generation of wrestlers that I'm in, that's before your group,
Mhm.
it was a extreme lack of women's representation,
Mhm.
um, a very hard line some places about intergender wrestling,
Mhm.
and a pay disparity that hasn't seemed to change, but was bigger then, and before that was even bigger. So I guess it became better during my time,
Yes.
but
Yes.
there were, we all had these different things that we had to reckon with and
Mhm.
deal with in the business, on top of those familial things,
Yeah.
those filial things that factor into it.
Mhm.
My mom was not, I mean, she rests in peace, but she
Mhm.
was not a wrestling fan either.
Mhm.
So, like you were saying, I didn't expect her to be, your parents to be. I had, that same approach as well,
Mhm.
because I'm not going to get my 65-year-old mother to all of a sudden embrace the beautiful, brutal artistry of wrestling in the way that I
Yes.
see,
Yes. Exactly.
versus what she is interested in. But I will say that she came to a place of, if you're gonna, whatever you do, do it well. So if you're gonna, she called it, you're gonna do this little wrestling thing, you better be the best at, like.
Yes, exactly how my parents are. So I understand.
Yeah, so
I
you
understand.
know,
Yes.
so
Yes.
I think that's the level of support we can kind of expect from them,
Yeah. And
given
it
you know
helps though. It
their
helps.
it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because we are in a very um, unforgiving business, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And if you have family or friends who are providing that backbone of support for long trips on the road or, back to back matches or navigating, just the behind the scenes of wrestling, it does make a big difference in longevity and what you're able to do.
Yep.
So that is something that I've also been very fortunate to experience from all of the folks from around your way in PA. I will always have a special place in my heart for all of the PA folks.
We love you,
It is
Ronnie, always.
oh, it is the spider web of friendship that is spread across the world, but it started right in McKeesport, and I will always be grateful for that. And for y'all, the upside down bowling pin can roll away into the ether, but for how it brought us all together, I am so grateful. And I'm also grateful for having fun.
Yes.
We are coming up with our next segment, which is Two Truths and a Work. I'm very excited. I don't know. We did a different game with Zeke. It got a little messy. This one's a little less messy. Okay.
Don't worry.
So two truths. Yes, we'll keep it non-messy for today. So for two truths and a work, you will give me two truths and one work from your wrestling experience, and I will have to guess, and we will swap. I will start just so that I can model. And I'm going to try to keep things, since I went super messy last time, I'm going to try to keep things as non-messy as possible. So for my two truths and a work, here we go. Okay. So here we go. At a wrestling show in a central time zone, there was a show in which 7 out of 15 wrestlers were intoxicated.
Yeah. Sound like a good time. All right. It sound like familiar
I was
places.
not one of them. I was not one of them. No one in my car was. Okay, I'll say that. Okay. Well, I just gave it away that it was true. Boo! I'm bad at this.
It's okay. It's okay.
Liv, do you have them? You go.
Yeah,
you go, and then I go.
Okay. I think that's what I've been thinking about this. I've busted somebody's mouth open during a match.
Okay, see, that's good.
I've knocked somebody out during a match.
Okay, yes.
Or what's another one? What's a Oh, I've knocked myself out during a match.
Oh. Okay. So busted a lip, knock someone else out, knock yourself out. And see, these are easy. My brain was going, like, I feel like I was doing too much. Thank you. I should have let you start. Okay. That is good. Okay. Okay.
And it's funny because I just talked to somebody about this. One that, the two truths. I just talked to somebody about it recently. So, yes.
Okay. I'm thinking, yes, you probably did bust somebody's lip, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Because
that was an accident.
Yes, right. Obviously.
Yes.
Right. But
yes.
I'm like, that's happened to all of us at least some point in the ring. Either you busted their lip or your lip got busted. I'm remembering mine with Casey Spinelli, and I'm pouring blood. That was
mine was with the The Goons, I just faced them at WDWA again, but
Yeah.
it happened in our first meeting, and I accidentally socked Peyton in the mouth,
Yeah.
and it was literally a no red state, and
Oh.
the ref didn't tell us to take it home, so we have to hold on like, what should we do? What should we do? And he's like, she's like, keep going. I don't know. They're not telling us to take it home. I'm like, all right.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was a funny day.
Listen,
That was
if
a
the
funny
ref
day.
doesn't call it, that's not my job.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You know what I
saying.
mean?
I'm not gonna
So.
stop, but like, I'm like, your mouth was like gushing. It looked like a gusher, you know.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The mouth and the face is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
The moment, I mean, just the smallest little thing, and it's like
It's a waterfall. It's
it's
and there's no way to stop
terrible.
it.
And then you go and like clean it up, and you're like, oh, it's a nick like this big. Like why?
Yeah. Why'd you do this to me? Exactly.
Like what is this? Okay. So I think it was the mouth, and then the other one. Did you knock yourself out?
I did. I have. Just briefly.
I was like, that one has to be that, because like there's nobody's gonna just. Okay, so how did this happen?
I believe it was just on it was one of my few concussions, but it was just I think it was on a what was it? See? There you go. I think it was a bumping feet. Just a nasty bumping feet. Me.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly who, but I do remember getting knocked out in a match. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think I've also been knocked out one time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was in a scramble. So, you know,
like
you have time to collect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But not in a singles.
Mm-hmm.
I've been ringside when someone was knocked out in a singles. It was quite scary. I thought they died.
Mm-hmm.
They did not.
Good.
But, you know, seeing someone being like
limp,
just floppy.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like, oh,
that's not supposed to happen, guys.
Oh, no. Right. Okay. Let's do mine. I'm thinking. Okay, because yours were good and it brought it down, because I was like up here in the stratosphere. So thank you. Right. I'm just you made it better and measurable. Okay. All right. So I lost my hair in a match.
Ooh.
I broke someone's nose in a match.
These are good. They're already better than that.
I sharted on someone without their knowledge in a match.
Oh my gosh. Say them again, because now you threw me off with the shorted. No, wait. What was the first two?
Okay, so it was shart.
Mm-hmm.
It was broke someone's nose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh crap! I forgot the first one myself. Coming back.
The hair. You lose. I believe you have lost your hair in a match.
You said what now?
I believe anybody has lost their hair in a match. Yeah, like honestly, it happens.
Yes.
It's normal.
True. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That was true.
The other two though, I don't know. I don't think you shorted on anybody. I think you broke someone's nose on accident.
No, I sharted on somebody.
Oh
I've
my
never
gosh.
I've never injured anybody in the ring ever.
That's phenomenal.
But farted and sharted on people.
What, were you doing the bonsai drop?
Yeah, it's always the bonsai around my period, man. And it's just, I know better, but it's not.
Damn.
And one time it was bad because I was wrestling this girl and it was raining. And so when I went for the bonsai, my feet slipped. So I went a little forward and landed on her face. like full face.
Take it home.
And people were talking so much shit on Twitter. I was so pissed. I was like, oh, great. Y'all can't clip any other of my stuff, but you get the one time I fuck up in the rain. Wonderful. Wonderful. And that was a shark time. That was a shark time. I never told her that, and I definitely wasn't going to volunteer that information at the time because I was getting too much heat for it. But yeah, that was like my third shark.
That's fire. That is
It's
so
ridiculous.
Real.
I don't know what's going on with my situation.
Hey, no, I just think it's naturally when we're moving along. Honestly, we don't control that. We're thinking about other things of controlling, not that.
Right.
You know,
I'm not worried about that. I've got my camp
that's going to happen.
I'm padded up. I'm ready to wrestle.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm not worried about what the internal stuff has going on. So I'm bonsaiing, I'm Vadering, you know, I'm smashing my body everywhere. And then it's like, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, win or lose, I will see y'all later. I'm going to go.
You will remember
handle that.
me. That's what it felt like. That is phenomenal. Love that story.
I'm not going to tell the people either because I don't want someone to be like, wait, I was shirted on? I feel like they would be upset about it. So I'm just.
Hey, we've heard about greats pissing, shitting, vomiting, yelling crazy stuff.
CM Punk pooped himself one time too.
I thought it was John Cena, wasn't it? Or CM Punk too? Didn't they both do that?
I feel like Punk pooped himself one time too.
I heard Cena say that. Natalya said she pissed herself. Charlotte said that too. I've heard a lot of weird stuff. I don't know why I know all this information, but I do.
Listen, bodily functions in the ring, that can be a whole different thing.
It's scary.
Your body literally goes into a different.
It's like we're at home in the ring. It's like, no, I'm not at home. I'm in front of probably 50 to 400 people right now, and you have me, detrimenting right onto my opponent. No.
There's just so much stuff. Like I don't know why, if I'm like sweating a lot, I like snot a lot too.
Like Brock Lesnar.
So I'm like trying to be a heel, like, rah, and there's just like snot coming out and there's sweat everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Like, people don't know what we sacrifice for our art.
I feel you. It's hard. It's hard. It's not easy.
It is.
No.
It is not. I love when people say it's a trampoline. Also.
Oh, yeah. I said that the first time I got into the ring, too. And then I took a bump. And everything changed. I said, I will never, ever disrespect you, ring. Never, ever again.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. You too, Ropes. Never again.
Right.
I thought you were like...
You get that bruise right along here? Right? Yeah.
Right. Never again. I learned my lesson.
Well, speaking of lessons, Lib, are there any that you would impart to up-and-coming wrestlers, queer wrestlers, Black wrestlers, non-binary wrestlers, any wrestlers seeking to break the mold and go their own way? What advice do you have for them?
Yes. My advice always is to be authentic and be yourself. A lot of the time we feel like we have to fit a mold to get by. And I just want you to know, there's a lot of people out there right now still making new moves, still making new characters, making it fresh. And that could be you, It's not hard. Like you see me, I just reinvented the wheel somehow. Anybody can do it. Really. You just got to take the time and take the effort, look at tape, all that neat stuff. Do that. You'll get there.
And Liv, please share your socials again so that people know where to find you.
It's Liberty L the Villainess on Facebook. It's officially the Villainess on TikTok, and it's the Villainess on Instagram.
Liv, thank you so much for being with us on Sunday Sessions 1,000 Words, and thank you so much for sharing your beautiful artwork with us and the story behind it.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It was very fun being on.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes Sunday Sessions 1,000 Words. We want to give a huge, big, Amazing. Thank you and wave of gratitude to Liberty L, the Villainess, for coming on and sharing this beautiful piece of artwork that means so much to her with
Yeah.
us. And as promised from the previous episode, I will be sharing with you all the item that is significant to me that I will be talking about in my episode. And Sorg is going to insert that here. And we're going to pretend like that was there. Okay, editing arms. Okay. I hope this is helping you, Sorg. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Sunday Sessions, 1,000 Words. I look forward to joining you and you joining me next week when we talk with the indomitable Reza Clark. This has been Sunday Sessions. We'll see you next week, y'all. Later.